Hello everyone. Welcome to the 2025 Stash Builder collaboration for July. I hope you can see okay. I'm using a new phone holder and I haven't yet figured out how to use it properly. My old one was very wobbly and attached to the table, but it did allow me to see what I was doing. This one I have to kind of look up into it from about 4 inches above the table, and I'm not built for that anymore. Anyway, this video has changed in my mind with monotonous regularity. It was supposed to be the June Stash Builder, but I just could not seem to get myself together. This is, let's see, they're colorful. I can kind of see whether you can see them, kind of. Okay, I hope you can see these. This is kind of my go-to card for when I'm feeling extremely uninspired. For about 10 years, my sister-in-law and I got together every week to craft. And sometimes I just didn't feel it. Oh dear, that one went on crooked. Oops, too late now. And I originally was going to walk you through the whole process because, well, that's what I was going to do. But as I worked on the cards to practice, I realized that was going to make for a very, 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 very long video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a little bit about how each step works. But I'm just not going to try to finish a card because I don't want you to have to be here all day. Now, the first step is this double-sided sticky paper. I buy it in the A4 size and then I cut it into quarters, which gives me exactly the same size as a card front because I mostly use A5 cards. Yes, I think they're A5. I do get a little confused about the A numbers. I was beginning to think I got it, and then somebody mentioned that there's an A6. It's like, an A6 is half of A5, and A5 is half of A4. I think I might actually make A6 size cards. Anyway, so the first thing you do is get a piece of double-sided sticky paper. Now the first thing you do is collect scraps. I like to make my own papers, and those are the ones that I like best for this purpose. But I often cut my mats down and end up with these little skinny things, and I used to just throw them away. And then somewhere on YouTube, I saw somebody doing this. And I decided that that was a great idea, especially for the backgrounds that I had made myself. So, you fold back this piece. I had collected a bunch of pieces that I think might work. My mojo is just not there today. Or this week, actually. I've been sick for most of 2 months, most of May and June. And I'm finding it's just really, really hard. This one is too wide for my preferences, so I'm going to cut it in half. And the first thing we do is lay it. You can lay it in any direction you like. I find that the diagonal appeals to me most. I want both of the corners to be off the edge. And then lay the next one down. Oh, this one is also too wide. I should have done this before. Sorry. Anyway, I've been sick for most of the last 2 months, and I've gotten pretty much no exercise because, well, I just wasn't up to it. Now I'm trying to get back to it, and I have to say, it isn't fun. I'm not somebody who's keen to go and exercise and feel great. I do it because I want the benefits, like not being dependent as I get older. But I can't say that I'm ever going to enjoy it. Just not likely. Anyway, so I'm exhausting myself. I was supposed to walk for 5 kilometers today. And around about 2 o'clock, I realized, that's not going to happen because this video is not going to be done until 5:30. And by then, it will be full dark. So, yeah. I should stop whinging, shouldn't I? Anyway. I have had some wonderful news. I got a note weeks ago from my brother that my mother seemed to be losing ground in her fight against dementia, and she was losing a lot of function, and everybody was really worried about her. Well, as it turns out, my mother had a stroke, brain bleed they call it, and she is recovering reasonably well and is almost back to her previous function, and they think she might get most of the way back with time and physiotherapy. So, yeah, excellent news. Now, probably should have taken off my gloves. I've got little bits stuck there. But now, here is one of the ticklish bits. It only goes partway across. Now what? Well, another piece butted up against it. Works. And then turn it over and trim those bits off, and you can start over. And as you can see, this doesn't take a whole lot of thinking, which is why it had rapidly become one of my go-tos, because I could do this, make these mats while Karen and I talked, and then I had backgrounds. And it didn't require very much of me. Yeah, no creativity involved, really. I'm going to have to take my gloves off. This is getting silly. And cut this one in half because that one has been cut in half. I don't need this width. This was my very first cutter, and it disappeared into the archives for a long time. And then I realized that it's pretty much useless for dealing with whole sheets, but it is just the thing for these little projects. Okay, that one and that one. And let's see if I have any more. The nice thing about this is a certain amount of repetition is good, but if you don't have it, it just isn't a deal breaker. And you don't have to get them butted exactly up against the previous row. If you have too many gaps, you can just push glitter into it, and it almost looks like you meant it that way. Okay, didn't have enough of that. And that kind of works. Anyway, I think we've done enough of this. I'm sure you get the idea. And then, when I'm done, I put it in the cutter. From one corner to the next. Now, something that I sort of discovered in making the cards for this is that if you want the angle to be just so on your card, I prefer mine to be like this. But of course, this piece didn't come out that way. So, if you have a preference, it would be an excellent thing to figure out that before you cut it. That is not my specialty, and I'm not going to try to guess how to do it. But most of them do come out right, and every so often, I mess it up. Anyway, so then you grab it at the corner. And again, take the backing off, which again is sort of a nuisance. There it is. It is a little easier once there's stiffer paper. And you very carefully place it in the corner. Wrong glasses. No wonder I can't see what I'm doing. Okay, place it in the corner. Make sure it goes right on the edge. And then pull this off. Smooth it down. Do I have anything that will look good there? No, I don't. I'm going to have to do the glitter trick here because I can see that I missed some. And then I cut out a whole bunch of shapes. And I stamp a design on the shapes. I find that this sticky mat is particularly helpful with little things like this because the magnets used to constantly get in the way and keep this stamp from stamping properly. I think I would like that one. I'll come back here. Boxes and boxes and boxes of ink. Okay. seems to have worked okay. Put it away in its sleeve later, but got a better chance of not losing it if I stick it back on the plastic at least. Now, have to decide whether I want it this way. Oh, if I do it that way, I don't have to mess with the glitter. And it won't be in the wrong corner. That works. Now, I want to ideally not mess up that ink. Keep forgetting to take that out. But it is keeping the glue from settling in the nozzle, so it's worth it. Anyway, so what shall we make this one? Thinking of You? Sympathy? Now, my husband has said that he would not use a potted plant for a sympathy card. So, I guess we're not going to do that. Because he has far more friends than I do. So, this one's nice and generic. You're in my thoughts. That could mean anything. Suitable for everything from I haven't seen you in too long to you're going through a hard time to, I don't know, anything really. When you send a card, it's because they're in your thoughts, right? Maybe not ideal for a birthday. Now, find the same ink I used for the pot. I still hope to get back and do a stack of cards for the June stash builder because while I was sick, we cleaned out my stash pretty thoroughly. So what do you think? Quick, easy. I'll accept making the background. That takes some time, but it takes very little thinking, and it's just the thing to do. I made about 7 of them while I was ignoring the TV last night because I didn't much care for what was on. But I wanted to hang out with my husband, so he watched TV and I made backgrounds. Everybody was happy. So, thank you for joining me. You're welcome to join the collaboration anytime. Joining once is not a commitment to joining every time. Yeah. Have a good July, folks. I will talk to you soon.